So what is the difference between a pre-fader and a post-fader inside of Studio One? And when would you use these different pre and post-fader options? I want to show you two different examples, both using the song page and as well as the project page where the pre and post-faders will come up. Let's jump in. Hey friend, my name is Eric Miller and I help guitar players with home recording. And the other day I was working with a student. He asked me this question. He said, what does this little button over here do? And basically what he was referring to is the pre and post fader. So if you click on a track and you click on this little button on the effects send, it actually goes to either like this yellow, which is turning it pre-fader, and then if you click on it back again, it goes blue, which turns it to post fader. So what does pre and post fade mean? If you do it in pre-fade, okay, so if you're clicking on this and it goes to yellow, what that means is that the effects is everything pre-fader right here. So the fader is this volume, okay, so you can bring the volume up or down. Pre-fader means this effect here. In my case, it's a reverb that's being attached to this piano track, is not being affected by the volume level down here. So it's coming in pre-fader, so that means I can adjust this volume. The volume of the reverb is not going to be affected, okay? We're going to listen to this in a second so you can hear it. The second example is if I go to post-fader, and I click on it and it goes back to blue, that means that this reverb now, this reverb send is coming after the fader. It's coming after I adjust the volume here, so that now what's going to happen is that the reverb is going to go down in relation to the fader because it's coming after the fader. It's being affected by the fader. All right, so let's listen to this example. This is a piano track I have, and we're going to listen to it first with the pre-fader turned on. So as I turn down this volume, you're going to hear less and less of the track and more of the reverb. So, you know, until I turn it all the way down, and essentially you hear all reverb, okay? And then let's do it the other way. So now I'm going to go to post, same track, bringing the volume down. So what did you hear? So did you hear that as in pre-fader, as I brought it down, you heard a whole bunch of reverb and less of the track. When I went down to post, you heard the track reverb being brought down in kind of conjunction with the track itself. So I guess the next question comes, when would you use something like this? So typically, pre-fader would be used for getting a good headphone mix. You know, if you had a vocalist in the studio and they wanted to hear their reverb in their vocal mix, even when you brought down the track level a little bit, that would be one example. There's several others where you could use this, but typically it's creating like a good headphone mix. Even in live sound, you would use this. Post fader is typically used more for post-production when you're mixing the track. So as you adjust levels of different tracks, and if you have sends attached to them, you're also bringing down the level of the send so that you don't have, in this case, a whole ton of reverb in your mix. Even if you bring down the level of the piano track. Hey, real quick, I wanted to let you know that I have a few spots open for one-on-one music production coaching. If this is something you are interested in, you can sign up for a free 10-minute discovery call. And what we will do on a discovery call is meet over Zoom, discuss your goals, and see if we would be a good fit for coaching. So to get started with that, just click the link in the description below. You can sign up for the discovery call there. All right, now back to the video. All right, here's the second place in Studio One where you can see this. This is in the project page. So if you have Studio One Professional, it comes with the project page for mastering. And it looks a little bit different, but essentially the concept is the same. You have over here, you have everything that's being set up. What is pre-fader, you know, these effects now are coming before this fader. And then down here is post-fader. So there's no effects here, but this post fader is coming in after the fader. Okay, so when would you use something like this? Let's say you have some volume automation set up in your volume track, okay? So you, in certain parts of the song, you brought down the volume or you brought it up. Then you would probably want to use post fader because your effects are going to come after the volume adjustments. Now, I have everything set up here pre-fader because basically when I master, I essentially leave this fader at 0, so it doesn't really affect, it doesn't matter if you put it in pre or post. But that's another example within Studio One where you would see this pre versus post fader option. So I hope you found that video helpful. Again, if you are interested in music production coaching, just click the link in the description below, and I will see you on the next video.